Hello everyone, this is a 1.8.0 update. We all thought it would be a 1.3. This is a 1.8 big jump. Let's go right into the patch notes. As for those who are looking, it's a fairly large patch, which is really good for what 1.8.0 is compared to a 1.7.3. Let's continue. So first up, we have for single player a bunch of crash fixes. That is absolutely fantastic news. For performance, we have various lag spikes, especially during siege missions, improved general siege CPU performance, fixed CPU spikes during battles, improved load time, optimization performance for sieges, pathfinding, performance of formation AI, performance of dropped weapon system, moved agent formation AI to another thread to improve frame rates, optimized AI logic, care of and price data, settlement variables to improve general campaign performance, and optimized campaign fast forward mode. Overall, your game should run faster with battles and sieges and smoother overall. For save and load, the quick save system utilized the last save slot, added some language and fixed some typos. For our actual content, increased the number of agents using animation points in the castle and town scenes. They added 4 new battle scenes, 6 new town scenes, Psychon, Diathma, Encyclopedia, I can't read this. Added 7 new outer meshes to existing town scenes, probably more detail. 5 new Azurai shoulder pieces, bronze scale shoulder guards, long sleeved bronze scale shoulder guards, bronze scale pauldrons, decorated bronze scale pauldrons, and decorated long sleeve bronze scale pauldrons. 2 more Azurai shoulder pieces. Added 6 new Valendia shoulder pieces, ornate pauldrons with cape, reinforced ornate pauldrons, reinforced ornate pauldrons over scale, pauldrons with cape, and scale shoulder guards. Added 6 new Azurai helmets, so Azurai is practically getting a new set of armor. Brass Southern close helmet, brass Southern close helmet with turban, brass Southern helmet, brass Southern helmet with turban, brass Southern helmet with leather flaps, brass turban helmet with leather flaps. And finish it off, 4 new Azurai body pieces. Southern reinforced mail armor, Southern reinforced sleeveless mail armor, Southern reinforced mail vest, and Southern reinforced short mail armor. And he added 1 new Empire heavy cape. Added pommels to 16 maces, fixed 2 visual issues, and fixed visuals to all scenes. Overall, Azurai got a lot of content in terms of armor. Animations, they fixed 3 bugs with animation and removed an incorrect campaign map character animation that played while helping a village that is being raided. For campaign map, they've improved performance, improved some camera behaviors, and fixed bugs, while also improving the army leader and army member visual location algorithms. For UI, we have a decent amount of UI changes. Introduce new scene notifications to give more weight to events. They now open automatically or be triggered with circle notification, generic, newborn, marriage, Eric coming of age, death from old age, man heroes and dies. This was announced from one of their previous blog posts in the last year, giving animations to certain decisions. Give more, kind of like a Crusaders King 3 and such. Main storyline: support faction defeated, finding banner pieces, pledge allegiance, conspiracy, declaring Dragon Banner. So completing the main storyline will have a little more cutscenes or a little more added content. Settlement values within Encyclopedia are now restricted to settlements that you are near, that are within your kingdom, or have a clan member inside. Introduce a new Hero's Death in Combat difficulty option. Moved Enable Birth and Death to a separate module. 3 options available that can change during gameplay: disable all deaths, disable battle deaths by player only, and enable all battle death. Enable Birth and Death will not only be visible during character creation in the Birth and Death only options. Module is selected in the launcher. If the module doesn't exist, the default value is enabled. Next, we have Order. Battle configurations are now saved separately from Siege to Field battles. Organized gameplay options have contents in the options screen. Gameplay options are now shown under Controls, Visuals, Camera, user interface and campaign categories. Improve phrasing for clan members' current behavior. While cheat mode is enabled, opening the default dismisses party mode screen will now show all troops defined in the game on the left side roster. And just a bunch of other, I feel, other minor changes. For UI, they did a bunch of fixes. Now let's move into combat. Armor effectiveness improvements. Reduce the armor coefficient from 100 to 50. In translation, 1 armor now provides 2 health points against blunt attacks. Reduce blunt's pure damage coefficient from 1 to 0.4. Increase armor effectiveness against blunt damage from 0 to 0.5. These changes increase the effectiveness of mid to late game armor against blunt damages to make it feel like it's a more meaningful investment, which is great because it does feel sometimes you still get one shot with armor. All combat mechanic effects, knockdown, knockback, dismount, are now decided using a standard and deterministic model. All weapons that can apply these combat mechanics have a relevant flag. Can I knock down? Can I dismount? These flags are displayed on weapon tooltips. To apply these effects, an attacker should now deal enough damage to exceed the threshold damage which is computed as maximum hit points of the victim's times resistance percentage against the relevant effect. So you have to out-damage threshold for them to be knocked down or dismounted. Athletics skill now increases resistance percentage against knockdown and knockback effects, which is actually really good. Riding skills now increase percentage against thrust dismounts and hook dismount effects, also really good. Certain attacks might reduce these resistances by a penetration amount. All perks which provide chance-based knockdown or knockdown effects are replaced with those increasing penetration for the same effects. Added light crossbows, simple, light, and fine crossbows that can be set on the move and are usable on mounts without a perk. Decrease the damage of blunt weapons by 10%. Fight clubs now deal piercing damage instead of blunt. Throwing axes now deal bonus damage to shields when thrown and in melee. Overall, armor late game, added light crossbows, and reduce the damage of blunts. Battle sieges, here we go. Adjusted disorganized state penalties, at which events which trigger this state. After a fight or when leaving an army, parties will be in a disorganized state for 6 hours. They will move 40% slower and 20% less battle morale. In addition, the player leaves some men behind in order to get away from his fight applied to the opponent. Missions that do not have involved the entire party, cleaning hideouts, rallies, prison breaks, will not cause a disoriented state. They're making after large battles a lot more penalizing than just running away. For battle, implemented an improved system for spawning reinforcements in battles. Reinforcements will now always spawn near the deployment boundaries of the battle. Initial wave of troops always spawn on the original path, respect to the position of the battle. So it's going to spawn behind you at the borders. Okay. And bug fixes. And for Siege, they fixed a wide slew of bug fixes, hopefully fixing a lot of the problems we still have. For character development, you now reset your characters and companion perk assignments to the Arena Master for a suitable price. Absolutely fantastic. Generic taverns NPCs also can point this out as a tip. Late game, if you don't want to commit to, say, trade, you don't have enough money, you can just reset your perk. Absolutely fantastic. Overhaul the equipment selection screen for Born Heroes, so it takes many parameters into account such as culture, traits, hero type. Improve the way NPC child skill and traits are leveled or calculated. The child now receives skills and traits periodically instead of at once while reaching adulthood. Obviously, they balance some skills out for balanced scouting. Sustaining higher party speeds with larger parties will not grant more experience. Party combat experience. Attacking higher tier troops will not provide more experience. Balanced combat perks. Balanced athletics. Balanced riding. Overhaul leadership. Instead of a passive increase, it is now tied directly to experience gained by commanded troops. Overhaul the roguery skill gain method in the passive increase. It is now tied directly to experience gained by commanded bandit troops. Additionally, balanced experience gained from looting in caravans and villagers. They also diversified and balanced the actions, which provided engineering skill experience. Destroying siege engines now provides engineering skill experience, which is great. Another avenue to get engineering experience. And they have some fixes. Forcekin perk no longer cuts the Britannian force bonus. Forge's perk no longer reduces stewardship EXP gain, and so forth. For now, let's move on to clan and party. Improved clan management via the clan screen. You can now exchange the leader of a clan party. You can assign a new party leader. You can recall a clan member to your party. Send a clan member to stay at one of your towns or castles. AI clans will also assign a party leader if the party leader has died, and if there's one available, AI clans will change the party leaders if there's one better available. We have some improvements to AI preventing zigzagging in the same spot, which is good if you're doing like sieges. Improved AI path selection decisions and bug fixes. Armies. Improved the campaign map AI, which is absolutely great. Fixed bugs. AI can now target and besiege the same settlement simultaneously to aid each other, so they can get reinforcement, which is good. Noble parties can now buy and carry more food to provide enough food for their armies, which is great because armies would siege a castle which they can easily beat, but they would easily run out of food. Improved cohesion, boosting army. Cohesion. Now they boost their own cohesion on important tasks like defending or besieging. Armies with a 30 cohesion disband themselves if they decide not to boost their cohesion or do not have enough influence to do so. It's pretty standard and general stuff. For kingdoms and diplomacy, interested mercenary offers will be sent to the player by faction rules. Mercenary offers can be accepted without talking to the faction ruler. Introduce vassalage offers, which will be sent to the player by faction rulers. These notifications act as an invite. Rather you getting an invite, I believe, you can get invites yourself. Bug fixes. Adjusted supply and demand for various trade goods. Added the Ramel Ranch village type. Fixed bugs. There is a more extensive economy and trade changes, which will open up in a bit. Crafting. Separated the crafting piece, unlocking experience into relative type of weapons. Crafting a new weapon now collects experience for that weapon type only, and unlock part will be able for that weapon type alone. It could be a nerf. I'm not sure how to view this until we get into the game and see how it plays out. You're limiting the piece to the weapon rather than unlocking random weapons. Added 14 new heads and 5 new handles, which can be used for the creation of two-handed maces in smithy and two-handed maces. So for smithing, they added a bunch of new pommels, a bunch of new pieces where you can create your own custom weapon, but is that unless it's limited to that specific weapon or type. For settlement actions, town, village, castles, and hideouts, lower the upgrade chance of recruits. You now hire tab and mercenaries through the menu option. Ransom prisoners menu no longer ransom prisoners that are locked in the party screen. Notables in towns and villages are now fixed. The player can now least be at least tier 3 to request a meeting in castles and towns, which is a nerf, but also forces players to get that renown to be someone notable. Bunch of bug fixes. And 10% of the prisoners in all settlements will now be sold daily to prevent dungeons from exceeding the prisoner limit. That's going to be a problem for me personally. For quests and issues, a bunch of bug fixes. Added markers and such for mods. Updated quest logs, alternative solution requests, durations, or requirements for various quests. As you can see here, so they touched up the rewards and durations for quests. For conversations and encounters, improved recognition of the player by NPCs and dialogues. Improved NPC comments and dialogues. Improved NPC conversations with workshop employees for more smooth and provide more information and more bugs fixes. Next, we have many troop changes, item and item name changes. Add new Encyclopedia changes. For multiplayer, I'm not going to go over that just because I don't really play multiplayer. There's not many, just a bunch of bug fixes and a few cosmetic item changes, visual pop-ups. For both, fixed crash fixes, improved shadow effects and particles in low graphic settings, fixed bugs, more changes for UI, basically more bug fixes, performance improvements, animations, and combat tweaks with more bugs. For our modders out there, there's a massive slew of mods. Now let's quickly go to economy changes with 1.8. Prime issues we should prioritize: overstocking trade goods in towns, low profit margins, caravans, workshop variety between town markets is not high. So let's look at the changes. Demand for trade goods has increased. Luxury demands also are reintroduced. Production of villages are adjusted. Workshop production volume ambitions are adjusted. Value for trade goods are adjusted. Expenses for workshops are drastically increased. So they're going to make the demand higher, but workshops are going to cost more in the long run. And also you can check out the link to read the rest. For troop changes, I'm not going to go through everything because there is a massive troop change and name change for items. Overall, it is a decent patch that addresses a lot of bug fixes, adds a lot of Azurai content for cosmetics, added a bunch of new battle scenes. Overall, this is a decent step up for 1.8.0 as we get closer to release. Stay tuned and enjoy.